Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terri-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? It is Wednesday, 23rd of March. Would you believe it? 23rd of March. And it is 6 p.m. in the afternoon. And you're looking at us, so it is 5.8G Alive. Welcome. I am Terri-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. As usual with me.
Yes, I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, the other co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. Good evening to you all and welcome.
Great. So listen, last week, I mean, it's not only last week, viewers, you would have been listening from the start of the month, and we've been on a reflection journey. I mean, we started the year with vision board, and then we started reflecting, looking at Lent and stuff like that. But you know, with Jennifer and I, there's always a bigger picture leading to everything, all right? We're not reflecting for reflecting's sake. So the real hardcore followers of Connections 50 Plus will know that April is a special month for us.
Not just for my birthday, eh? It was the month we launched. Yes.
Exactly. 7th of April, we had our big launch at UE Conference Center and all that, where we started. So what we are really planning some fantastic things, because 3 years significant, Jennifer, for many businesses.
Definitely.
Surviving 3 years is considered to be a threshold. And we are talking about 3 years. We started on the 7th of April. We started our Wednesday show.
2 years of pandemic.
2 years of pandemic, going from sitting down on a chair together live on Facebook to going into studio and then learning technology on Zoom. So last week, we began our reflections where we are looking at what we are about in Connections. We always say there are 3 platforms, you know.
Yeah.
You got to take care of yourself and make sure you are okay. And then you got to make sure for this extra 20, 30, 40 years you're going to live, you have enough money to carry you through. And thirdly, you've got to have a tribe that
definitely
is there with you. So our reflections, we've been taking a look back at our shows and thinking about, have our views changed? Are we the same? You know? And Jennifer, I know you had some great feedback on last week's reflection.
Yes, definitely. You know, it's really for people who weren't aware of the show from when you started watching late. The feedback was, you know, really being able to relate to the stage they were on. So for instance, a friend who was on the later stage, the 70 plus stage was really able to relate to what Alison was talking about. And she just found that you all did that then? And I said, yes, we have been doing this for a while. I mean, Connections 50 Plus formed, as we said, in April, and then we started our program, the actual, you know, program like this. So a little while after, it wasn't exactly the same time, but we have been doing so many programs. And when I get the feedback, but you know, Jennifer, you all should do this, that, and we have done that already. So this is a good time to show, you know, go back and review and bring back some of those shows, the views, you know, and especially the guests we had to hear, you know, what they had to say. And when I look at it, I think my views changed somewhat over the 2 years. And I say
3 years.
3 years. And I'm saying, did I say that? Oh, okay.
And that's just part of the process. As we grow, we become different, we change. And, you know, one of the funny things about going through Jennifer, we realize is that we have good clothes, they last long. Because sometimes I find I'm still in outfits that I was wearing back then.
See, I mentioned that to a friend was saying, when you're looking and say, when we look back, I say, but that's what I had. She said, I don't see that at all. I find you always look real good. So I said, good. So, you know.
But not to everyone. Invest in good clothes.
You know, I'm about costume jewelry. I'm about accessories, you know. So that's a little tip. Just use accessories, accessorize your old clothes. It looks good.
Anyway, so for this week's reflections, we are looking at that pillar of the 5.8G stage where we say you need companionship. And you know, the companionship road could go along the intimate companion and the friendship, the community road. And back in October of 2019, we had as our guest Garth Thomas. And we had a hell of a discussion. So we are going to use that as our sounding board to get our reflections going. So we're talking about intimacy, companionship, friendship, community. Okay.
Do we really think about what do we bring? What right do I have to demand my list of things from a potential mate? That's what you're saying.
Well,
Let me allow that. You want to
I
take
don't
it
know.
over, so I'll let you.
I accustomed to that. I don't have a problem with it. All right. You see, if I go back to the paradigm, the COVID paradigm, whilst you cannot jump from dependency to interdependency, you must hit the independent stage first.
Yes.
Having hit the independent stage now, the challenge to move to interdependency is a significant one.
Especially plus 50.
Especially plus 50.
When you're hardwired.
All right? Because very often interdependency seems to require that we give up some of our independence.
Nice word is compromise.
All right, okay? So the fear of giving up what we have grown accustomed to is a major player in the whole scenario. Because, you know, for instance, Jenny talks about the stuff that she put in her boxes and take off, that she brings to the table. But what she cannot talk about, but what is very present, and it's the same thing for you, it's the same thing for me, is the unconscious stuff that we bring, the baggage.
Oh, yes.
A lot of the baggage is unconscious stuff, right?
What kind of
stuff
baggage is the big plus baggage? Give me an example of it. No, give me an example so that we know what we're talking about. What is 50 plus baggage?
50 plus baggage is that if you have, for instance, you talk about finding a man who is financially independent, okay? So
that I don't have to mind.
Right. So he's accustomed to controlling his money. Yeah. That control is not easy to give up. All right, because it's a bulwark. It is a bulwark that has served him well over the years.
Yeah.
All right.
But I don't want to control his money.
No, but you see, it's not a question of you wanting to control his money. The issue is that he is in a relationship.
And he's expected.
All right.
To give out
if that relationship is to flourish. Not a question of expectation, you know, is that if the relationship is to flourish, then the two becoming one has to be real in all aspects of the thing. So this question of ownership.
So is that why you remain unattached plus 50?
So far? No, because I have been unattached because I have become very picky.
Okay. So what makes you so picky? What do you bring that
causes you
What
to
gives you
say,
the
I can
authority to be
afford, I could be picky?
I have
What
a
is
high
your
sense
price?
of worth. I have a high self-esteem.
Mm.
I believe in myself. I believe that if nobody wants to stand beside me to move into wealth and prosperity, that I will move by myself. Okay, I will prefer to have somebody to walk that journey with me. But the absence of such a person is not going to take me back, because I believe in me. But I believe that for me to find my fullest expression, I need to open up my life and share it with somebody. So, which brings me to the issue of intent.
Yeah.
And which is why I move away from the tick boxes, you see? Because the tick boxes are all informed by intent. And therefore, I need somebody, a purity of heart is a very important thing for me.
No agenda.
You know,
You know how long I have until that?
No agenda. So no agenda.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, you know, they're going to have agendas, but you know, by and large.
But at least put it on the table.
Yes.
Let it be
All right.
transparent.
Yes. Okay. So, and this is the crux of my whole thing about relationships. That for a relationship to be mutually enriching, my intent should be to help you become the best person that you can be. That should be my intent. And I believe that if that is my intent, that I get the biggest payoff.
So that's what you bring
understand
into the
saying?
table.
So yes, all right. And so I'm saying it is not enough. If I learned anything from my marriage, the failed was that one hand can't clap. It is not enough for me to want this particular thing on my own. If I do have somebody who has a similar kind of a perspective, then I am slapping the wind. And between me and you, I slap the wind enough for my life already. I ain't slapping no more wind. Okay? I am looking for some reciprocity. Okay? And intent for me
There must
is
be
important.
quid pro
No,
quo.
don't get me wrong. I like a nice looking woman. Okay?
So that's
Looks
picture in the
are
box.
important
Picture
to
on
me.
the box.
Looks are
Picture on the
important to
box.
me,
Okay.
but more than looks, you see, I have had enough experience with looks. All right, but if the looks are great, but the intent is not right, it's an absolute waste of time, and you could be really subscribing to the rest of your lifetime in hell.
So you're saying
I'm not doing that.
you must bring a pure heart to the table.
Yes,
Jennifer.
How long that was ago? How long that was? 3 years ago.
That was 3 years ago. And we were answering the question. We were talking about most of us complain about not being in relationships and so on. And we want this and we want that. And we challenge our audience and God to say, all right, you want all of this, but what are you bringing to the table?
Bringing to the table.
To deserve that? And you know, God gave his honest view of, hey, if you want to be in a relationship, what a pure heart.
And getting a view from a man really is quite important in terms of, you find many of females tend to, this is what we want in a relationship. And when you heard, audience, when you heard God talk about ticking the boxes, that really came from me, who said, listen, I want this is my list, you know, we like to do a list. And each list, you know, you put a box on in terms of this is what you want, and you tick or you X, etc. But you know, listening again to that conversation, Terri-Ann, you know, that part that came out about money, that financial situation, that, let me tell you, in all relationships, whether married or not, that is the key to either to destroying a relationship. Because you can have all good intentions, but if you, and you could tick all the boxes, but when you get into that relationship, and again, we are speaking about 50 plus, so we are at a certain stage in our lives, we may have acquired certain wealth in some way, or some sort of acquisition, but many of us may have lost too as a result, whether it's divorce, separation, etc. So that's a very ticklish discussion to have in a new relationship, in a relationship, you know. So God mentioned that with intention, and I would say, and I'm not sure if that came up when we had that conversation, but for me, if I get in at this stage to in a relationship after I have tried to acquire as an individual, as someone who's separated and living independently, that within my box, I'm sorry, I am still ticking. I would like somebody who's self-sufficient. I really would not like at this stage to have to support financially. I have no problem in sharing, but me being the main.
But not your money.
Yeah, and not the being main dependent. I don't know. I have a concern about that.
I think one of the things that has come out, and because many of us in this stage who are single complain bitterly that I can't find a person, man and woman, both sides, equal opportunity here. And the reality is that the reason that we can't get relationships is because we use the words baggage, we use the words luggage, we've acquired so much. When you're young and you have nothing, you're taking anybody. But when you have yourself developed to bring this purity of heart and to now share is extremely difficult. And I think one of the things that we have to admit is rather than complain, there are no good men out there. These women bad. We also have to shine a light on ourselves and say that at 50 plus, there's a level of inflexibility and there are less areas in which we are willing to compromise, and that impacts on our ability to have those intimate relationships, which are so important to life.
So it comes back to, and I'm not sure in terms, as we continue the discussion, it did come up that it is so important when we begin that relationship, and we're talking more of partnership here, that you discuss each other, you discuss your financial situation. And that what bringing to the table is whether it is, and coming from a financial background, I would say, what you bring in, how much debt you have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Jennifer, you may say that
how many dependents you have, what is happening, who do I have to share with?
Yeah.
Or how are we going to move forward? Is it my money is my money, your money is your money, and your family money? But this is important. This is really a critical discussion to have when we start that relationship. And even those who have been in relationships, and that coming up a lot, because for those who may have retired, so you're on less income, etc., even though you may have been together for years, it makes a difference when you're no longer salaried or getting an income sufficient to meet your lifestyle that you have been meeting. Yeah.
But Jennifer, the fact is that for you, money is a critical factor, but there are many people for whom just the fear of being alone, we have the stories of,
well, with that
throw all the money aside and they just forget blatant personal risks that are in front of them to say I have someone. So it is really, I think the bottom line that we got is really hard at this stage. If we are getting into relationships, we have to realize how much life we've lived and to really know when
and what it is we really want, whether money may not matter. And I agree. I'm just sharing that because when God spoke about money, I know for a fact money plays a critical aspect in relationship.
But there's another viewpoint that we saw where, Jennifer, now you gave your position in terms of what you see in relationships. Let's look at that.
So, listening to you as the unattached me, I love that word, unattached me.
So I like saying I'm unattached.
You're an unattached male and an unattached
Unattached
female.
I'm thinking
And a married woman watching that.
that pure heart.
Uh-huh.
When you describe that, and I'm thinking, what do I bring to the table? And in our conversation previously with that friend, when they ask that question, I always want, my question is always, what is that man bringing to the table? Because I see myself as such a confident, independent woman that I don't want much.
But you have your
Simple
flaws,
thing.
don't you?
Of course, I know I have the flaws, but
Okay.
listen, the flaws, when you talk about pure heart,
Mhm.
I swear I have a pure heart.
Okay.
I believe, maybe I didn't have it in the marriage. I didn't know about the pure heart then. Or maybe
No, I don't
my
think that
husband
is
didn't
Lessons
think
of
about pure heart.
The second time around must be better.
And
Or third
age,
or
must be
fourth or
age.
fifth.
But now at
Age
50
brings wisdom.
plus, I really believe at 50 plus, that experience I had in the marriage and relationship after, now I have the patience. I am just, and that pure heart is an interesting thing. I will go within and examine a little more. But if you ask me right now, why am I still unattached, which is the question that Terri-Ann asked you, and I think about it, is because maybe I haven't opened up myself enough. Trust is important.
Because we talked about fear.
And I
That's
haven't maybe
serious, isn't it?
opened myself up enough to say, yes, I am willing to help you reach where you want to go. That I am willing to travel your road to make you happy and you whole, because I'm still on my journey.
That is so significant.
I have a lot to do for me.
Yeah, but there's a lot that you cannot do for you.
I
On
agree.
your own.
On your own.
That's right. This is my whole point.
No, I agree.
All right?
And
And it
we
is
set
stuff
our
that you
ways.
need to do.
That was a hot discussion, Jennifer.
I was trying to remember what the joke was. But yeah, and you know, Terri-Ann, in thinking again, 3 years to that conversation, I think I'm at this same place in terms of my
You're not likely to change.
I'm wondering, you know, in listening to that and to help, you know, to share the feelings. And I said something there about still on the journey. I am still on a self journey, dealing with me, getting myself together in the way I want to. And I don't want to put that responsibility on anybody else. I don't need or don't want somebody else to come into my space now to confuse me. I am very clear in terms how I want to live my life at this stage, but everything is not in place as yet. And I am not certain whether a partner would be right, would get me there at this stage. You understand? I really feel I'm not yet ready. I haven't created the exact type of life that I want to share it with someone. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Let me put it
And
that
I think, you know, when we look at partners, and I could take it as someone being married.
Yeah.
The person I was when I got married is not the person that I'm now. And
Oh yeah. Yeah. You expect that change.
And I sometimes look very honestly and say, if I had to do it all over again, would I? And the one thing that stops me is, yes, I would, because out of this marriage came 2 beautiful young men that are my life that I love. So, okay, then after I had the children, if I had to start all over again, would I? I don't know. But one of the things that, you know, you look at young people, and a lot of young people today say, well, I'm not going to get married yet. I have to build a house, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. And very often I look at them and I say, but if you're going to make yourself completely whole, what are you and your partner going to
What you're building together, yes.
What are you building together? And a lot of people have that view even at a young age, and I think it prevents relationship building. Now, young people have less to lose, so yeah, I could jump in and both of us go together, and that makes a prenup irrelevant. But when you are 50 plus, and as you said, you're still on your journey, we have to really, and I hear and understand the point that you're making, but I think a lot of men and women have to be honest, like you just were honest and said, listen, I'm not ready to share. I'm not ready to bring someone in to openly share everything and
disrupt my plans.
And disrupt my plans,
Right.
because relationship is togetherness. And
Yes.
it is that unwillingness to share that at the end of the day may be at the base of why many of us, men and women, cannot find fulfilling relationships on the third act stage. And if that is the fact, then we just have to make up our minds. Continue on or not.
But let me just say, so in fairness to others, because as I said, this is my view, clearly, just remember who's listening, this is my view, for me. But I also understand, and I have friends, you have clients in the situation where Terri-Ann, they are willing to share.
Yeah.
They are not about financial things. They're not about material things. They are really about building that companionship and what God spoke about coming in with a pure heart, meaning you're not your intention.
Well, we're going to talk about naked just now. So.
Yeah, your intention is clear. Intention is pure. It's not about holding on, because I tend to, and you will hear it when I talk about holding on to what is mine, not taken from you, but holding on to what is mine, and I need my freedom and my space. But there are many women and men out there, that's not what they want, but yet still, Terri-Ann, they still, at the end of the day, still not being able to build that relationship. And I wonder, and as we move forward, if really it is a trust issue and the fear of being open, because when you open, and we talk about that, it's like, as you said, stripping yourself naked.
Well,
and it is a risk.
Jennifer,
it is a risk.
Is any relationship without that risk? That is at the end of the day.
Yeah. So that's why some don't work, because many people they're not willing to strip themselves in that way.
And if you're not willing to do it, then and I think that's the point, that one of the things we have to realize on the third act stage. So we may grumble and be unhappy, you're not in a relationship, you want to have a companion and stuff like that, or the one I have is this and the one I have is that. But at the end of the day, what these sessions is saying, get into yourself and understand, what do you bring to the table? Where are you in your life? And if you are not there, then it's unlikely an intimate binding relationship will be more difficult to find.
But that's if you want that.
Well, that's it. No, if you want it. If you want it. So those who don't want it, not in it. But anyway, we were talking about the nice airy fairies of relationship and philosophically and so on. But then we got down to, and this is the PG part of it. Why do you want that companionship? Why do you want a partner? There's intimacy, there's our sexuality. So God got into the important part of relationship. So take a listen.
Yeah. But an important part of a vital, vivacious, energetic, healthy, 50 plus intimate relationship is the holistic sexuality.
Of course.
And at 50 plus, 60 plus, you will have issues. You may have a mind that is still in the 30s and 40s, but a body that can't perform like the 30s and 40s. Now, how does that factor in that into the picture on the box? How does a new relationship, 50 plus, what is your view? How do you set this table? Because I don't want to talk bring to the table now. How do we prepare setting the table? Because as we said, there's going to be a lot of fear. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty.
So from a male point of view, sex.
Well, you see, again, we're talking about conversation,
Yeah.
all right? And we're talking about how important conversation is to building a relationship. Yes? Sex is the most intimate conversation any two people could have.
Agreed.
Okay? The act of sex.
I'm not gonna
Okay? All right? You can't get a more intimate conversation than that. But for that conversation, as with all the other conversations we're talking about, to be meaningful, okay? Then the intent, again, arises. What is my intention when I have sex with you? Is it to satisfy me exclusively? And if you happen to enjoy it, well, you're lucky. Or is my primary intent to provide you with satisfaction? And in providing you with that high level of satisfaction, I am satisfied as well. No, you see it.
What happens if you can't perform?
And now going
Well,
to say, if you're
performance, but I don't know. I can't speak to performance. I don't have the problem.
but
No,
you
but-
know, but
It might be no performance. It may be comparison.
no, and you know, God, God, that is on both sides. On both
We'll
sides.
have to beg for 5 minutes today.
So on both sides, because there are women who sex is a very integral part of a relationship
Of
for them,
intimacy.
because they want that feeling, that comfort. But you may find that men who really looking to have that, a good relationship, that they may falter in that area. So
We
the
have a lot of
pairs
masking.
of heart
Intention.
and the
A lot of
intention
masking goes on.
could mess up
Yes.
that relationship.
Of course it
It
can.
could mess
Of
up
course
that
it can.
relationship.
But I feel, see, I can't talk to other people.
So how do we?
But
Yeah.
let me see that there are some physical aspects to poor performance, which most men, if they knew, if they had the knowledge, could deal with.
And
All right.
women, by the
that's
way,
fine.
and
Yeah,
women.
and
Okay,
women.
well, you know,
No, both sides. Both sides.
in my,
And I say like you, I don't have that problem. But yes.
Everybody uses creams and oils and gels
So let's move on.
and tablets.
But what you're saying too is really important in any relationship for that conversation.
yes,
That is clear,
it
clear,
is the
clear.
ultimate conversation.
I think that is number one.
Yeah.
You must be able to see, like, before you reach that intimacy, that
That purity of heart.
yes, and that and being real, being truthful, and upfront. What would you like? How would you like your relationship to be? And that is something I can be fearful, because maybe if you have that relationship, you may scare that person because you feel it too much demand. You tend to
You may not
pretend.
live up to the
Yeah.
expectations
So
that
you
you
tend
set.
to pretend in terms of how you act, how you dress, and
Well,
certain
you see,
ways.
to have sex.
I had moved on from
in-
sex, but go ahead.
well, but you see,
Yeah, we can
sex
have
is at the core of the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
All right, whether you want to acknowledge it or not.
Mhm.
And to have really good sex, you need to be totally naked.
Mhm.
All right, no, you could have it to be semi-naked or whatever.
They
but
say all
I'm
your
just saying,
business
you
exposed.
release,
yes,
okay.
all
All
right,
your flaws.
to really have good sex, that is what you need to have.
Mhm.
And in the same way that is so physically,
Mhm.
I
it
hear
is
you.
also true in terms of the
Emotionally.
other areas of your life.
I hear you. That's
All right.
very true.
So this need to be masking
Yes.
and
Yeah.
hiding and stuff like
Yes.
that
Yes.
cannot be accommodated in that kind of a setting.
Because at
All
some
right.
stage, things will fall down.
Yeah. and-
Jennifer,
Yes. That masking is yep.
we want
And-
relationships, but we going in without a pure heart. halfway cover up intentions. Not
yeah. And you know, you waiting, tend to say, let me wait to see what they're coming with. So you're like the person is a test, you know, with different parts. So each time you meet is like you put them to a test. And let me see let me see if there's somebody will arrive on time. Let me see how much money they're spending when we go to dinner, or what if they bring in anything. And as you said, as a female, I'm saying that, but you know, on the male part is the same thing. They visit and they want to say, they visit and they want
like a
to
young
say,
bride.
Like our friend, and he start, and he come and he say, well, Jennifer, what you cooking? Cook anything? And I say, well, I not fit in your profile because don't come by me looking for things. But you really your intention. And I think definitely we need to understand that, and that stripping yourself at this stage in our lives is only fair. I think when you meet, you're building a relationship. So we haven't reached the intimacy stage, but before that stage, we should still be open. Normal friendship with my friends. I am honest. I am upfront, you know, because I want them to understand and know me. So this is who I am.
A lot of us do, and we come back again and we wonder how come we can't get a relationship going. We can't when at the end, and you know, part of the problem with that nakedness, and I mean naked in both the physical sense and the whole emotional sense, is that for many of us 50 plus, we are not mentally 50 plus. We probably still as active as 40-year-olds or early 50s or even some 30s.
Yeah.
But the bodies are not there. So this is you up naked. What you present to the person when it's time to strip down and be open in a relationship in all its forms. You really, you know, the belly ain't too flat, the breast ain't too perky. With men, the condition is not good.
Yeah. But what is what you want? And if you're looking for, as you say, the pure heart and somebody to go through this journey of aging with you, then certain expectations that you may have had when you were younger, you have to forget that.
Yep.
You have to forget that. At this stage in my life, if anybody come into me and want your arms still, you know, looking muscular, sit toned, want me well toned, flat stomach, and then I definitely won't be a person. It would cloud the building of a real genuine relationship. Because if you're all
holding on to the money.
Yeah, So if it's all about physical, but actually, Terri-Ann, and as I speak, if it is you're so happy with just chatting and doing things, then that will fall off, you know, then you won't have that thing about the money. The money will become less important.
And I think
all it will become less important.
What we have to do at this stage is watch the walls that we are building.
Yes.
And fortifying and defending, because we are making assumptions about what that man or that woman is coming to us with. And that is a war that will
and what if they will take anything.
Yeah, your partner.
Most of the time is material things. One of the challenges too, I use that same challenge, but the fear is that we are growing old. And I think about it sometimes and say, I am not getting into the relationship where I like the companionship. I like having person to chat with, go out it on either side. But I think of me also that I'm at this age that you can get up on, you may not be able to get up one day. You understand? And I think about it has to be someone who willing, and the same thing on my side, I have to be willing to give up a lot to see if I have to help in making that person as comfortable for the rest of their lives. And God mentioned that is where I see the pure heart comes in.
Yeah. And
So,
you know, the thing is, with challenges in life, because you don't know how you will react to challenges until you meet it, you can't be prepared. You can't be prepared.
I wouldn't say so, you know, Terri-Ann. I think that's where the peer heart comes in. That means that you should be prepared for whatever comes your way if you really care about that person's interests and their happiness and that sort of thing, which is not easy. I'm just saying that because
it's not easy.
That peer heart, I understand, and I can see going into any relationship with that mindset, it must work if both parties come in on that. So it could work, but it's not a norm.
It's a high risk because there are many stories of abandoned partners.
Yes, who can't take the stress.
Yes, I sign up for till death do us part, but you see the sickness part, you see if death comes quickly, we're good. But you see extended and prolonged sickness, I'm able, I'm going.
The poverty part too.
And those things, you know, as I think as God said, we know what we want and we know what we don't want, but we're not aware of our subconscious biases. And it is only when a situation arises that we say, what? No, I'm not in this.
So the question really too, and it came up, is what are you willing to give up?
Well,
it's always
next
what you want.
Is where we begin to talk about risk and fear.
And what you really want to give up. Yeah.
So check this out.
That the whole issue of wealth is relationship, is connection. And we asked the question, what do you bring to the table? All right. And you gave a very succinct answer, your luggage. Okay. Baggage. But you said baggage, and I use the word luggage because luggage has it's good and bad because baggage is. But we made the point that sometimes at 50 plus we have so much luggage. We wonder if there's room for anything else, and we have to decide what goes and what comes. And you brought up the word risk.
Yes,
risk. So we finish off by now talking about how you deal with that risk, because people are saying, what if the other? What if the other? Does that stop us?
Yeah, well, we talked about the risk, and also, you know, we talked about the challenge of accepting people as they are.
Oh, yes.
And you know, that is a part and parcel of the risk issue.
Yes.
Because it is an easy thing to say that, you know,
and don't forget the naked in all its forms.
Yes, right. Okay. Well, you know, for sex, you must be.
And the heart, the pure heart.
Yes. Well, the pure heart, you know, all of those things are fine. But, you know, I was going to say that the song says, I love you just the way you are. And that is a beautiful and romantic emotion. And it is certainly, I think, that something that most people would welcome.
Yes.
You know, being loved the way they are. It means that there's no pressure on you,
no
to change.
Nothing.
And it's not a non-judgmental position. And some people say it's an ideal but it don't really mesh with reality.
Yes.
And I am saying that the ability to accept is an enormous, you know, you have to have enormous capacity as a human being to accept somebody and put absolutely no pressure on them.
No conditions.
To change. Because you know what is one change?
No checklist.
Right. No boxes according to Jen.
I still with my boxes. You have to convince me that I shouldn't have boxes. I'm yet to be convinced. No boxes.
And you see, you are still living in a Newtonian frame when we have moved on to the quantum frame, when boxes do exist in the quantum frame. All right? But that's a whole next discussion.
Maybe I'm getting there.
All right? But acceptance, I'm saying that it's, you see, you may overtly accept somebody, and you may be genuine in the statement that, you know, I'm accepting you just as you are. But, you know, we have a tendency to focus on flaws, all right? And leave all the other beautiful things that surround it out. You know, it's just like, you know, if you have a little pimple on your face, you have a beautiful face, yes? But when you look at that face in the mirror, you don't see the face. You see the pimple.
Mhm.
All right. And that is how we are as human beings. We tend to focus on the flaw.
Mhm.
And if you are focused on flaws, then the ability to accept somebody as they are is significantly compromised.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
we get real deep in some of these conversations. Huh?
Yeah, and that is what, you know, accepting people as they are. And Terri-Ann, if at this stage in our lives, at 50 plus, we cannot do that, then really and truly, it will always be difficult to build a relationship.
Let me tell you
Because
something.
we really shouldn't be judging anyone at this stage.
Hello. What we have to do is be real, because just as you said, you're not accepting somebody who come in to be a dependent. You just get rid of all your children
Yeah.
dependent on you. You're not taking on
Yeah.
economic dependent. So if someone, you have to make a decision to accept the person just the way they are, but
Yeah.
how you are has some conditionalities. And
Yeah, so you need to adjust. We need to do
not a
some
pauper,
adjustment.
or not an alcoholic, or not a person who is addicted or whatever it is. So we need to be sure that we know what we don't want, and accepting just the way they are doesn't mean that you accept things that are outside of your comfort zone. But we must be conscious that we are, as God said, picky, and we are choosing.
Yeah.
And if we don't have a person, then we must know that, listen, I haven't found somebody who meets my standards, and just accept that fact and not bemoan and groan about it.
But then at that stage, if your intention and your goal really is to build that relationship, man or woman, then we need to relook, like I said about boxes. We need to relook at that and say, okay, now if I'm happy the way I am and I want to stick to the criteria, that's one thing. But if you're not happy and you're miserable and you know what you really want to balance your life with is a partner, then I think in all seriousness, we need to review, you know, what we bring into the table and what we want that person to bring. So for instance, if it is not wanting somebody not to be dependent on you, then we have to look at what you consider dependent. What is the give and take there? Is it strictly financial, or is it just that somebody who you may have to drive around, but they're such a beautiful person to be with? Is it somebody you may have to eat food? Because if you are okay, financially sound, then why not?
Exactly.
What is your problem? What is your problem?
If you can provide,
You're not to, yeah, the person and asking you to buy a house or nothing for them.
live in
They
my
just
house.
in their situation at this stage in their life, they were very financially sound before, but all they need now is that little extra support. But they're giving you emotionally, they're fantastic.
Remember the song Love and
So,
Total? I'm not
yeah.
in a position
And
to.
I know situations like that, and they're very happy because money is not an issue, because the person have the money. And I am saying that because I am on a journey, as I said, for me, but a lot of compromise has to be done if it is that I have pushed up my priority, let me say. Because let me say, Terri-Ann, as you get older, and I'm there as of next 2 weeks or so, I need to think that, okay, I like to socialize. I still feel I have a lot of life in my body. I am a caring person, so I have no problem with caring for someone, but it mustn't be to my detriment. You understand? I need
It
to
depends
still
on what you call
maintain
that.
right. And I think, as I say that, we all different, and we need to examine ourselves again to see, are we going to stick to this belief or weighing that, okay, as God mentioned to me, this is my box and I'm not shifting the box? No, we may have to remove, those of us who say boxes, remove it completely and be open, be naked now in terms of saying, yeah.
From my view, if my life circumstances change and I look back at where I am, I place a very, very high value on companionship and friendship. And I think I can see myself taking in a loving papa and saying, all right, fella, come let me go down the road, I don't mind you. Because
because it's not the money wouldn't be the issue. It's not that.
What do I need money for? I might have millions saved up in the bank, but the house is paid for. I have a good car. It's food and clothes. How much I'm going to eat and how much I'm going to wear. And you know, as opposed to holding on to this money, not opening up and saving, and you are a rich, lonely person going down the road.
which is happening, to a lot. I think it and your timing. For me, I need to sort out. As I tell you, I need to sort out a bit, and I don't want to be dependent on anybody. And when I sort out and I sit back and say, okay, I'm ready to share.
Yeah, ready. Yeah.
But I need help. I need to sort out.
No, but
and I don't. And the other thing, Terri-Ann, I don't think it's fair for me to look for a companion to help me with financial situation.
But Jennifer, that is, your partner takes you as you are. So if you are in a financial tight spot, a person who is your partner understands that and comes into that. If you are wealthy, a person
I don't want them to take me down on the other side.
No.
I don't want to go down.
But then that, and we're talking about you, but for many.
Yeah, no, but I just share, but clearly.
Place and the
we have to be careful with that.
That we put down are the reason that we stay alone, because we have tick, and you are this and you are that, and you must look like this and you must sound like that, and you must be able to go here, or you must have this amount of property, and you must have achieved this, and all you want is companionship. You've achieved all that already. What is this long list which just
and I think
happiness?
Terri-Ann, you mentioned it. We bring in that baggage from the other stage.
Yeah.
And that is what happened. We allow, and that goes both ways, because I have men friends who think like, I don't want no woman to come and take away what I have.
Yeah.
So as you said that, we have to be careful what baggage or luggage we bring in from the others. Our other stage.
Remember,
how we were thinking then.
50 plus is a time to begin shedding and dropping things. It's not an accumulation period. And for many of us, relationship is important. But when we look at it and we listen to ourselves speak, I think it becomes so clear why we are not in relationships, or the relationships that we have, we end. Both men and women are not talking to women alone. And it is because we engage in fantasies. But we wound up our discussion with God by looking at friendship, because companionship on the 5.8G stage is not only intimacy and sexuality. There are many, many people who just need friends. They just need friends. And that was an important discussion. So let's listen.
We are speaking intimate, and we got the views from people that, okay, if we're not in, what happened? And I was want to go in because our focus is 50 plus. And I have found there are many of us who agent and don't have any friends.
Yeah.
Because
intimate relationships are not the only relationships.
We didn't build that friendship, and I'm moving away, as I said, from intimate. We didn't build that friendship. We didn't have time. What other reasons? And we find ourselves, especially as we are aging, not having anybody to live with.
And then
some don't even have families.
It becomes more acute.
Yeah.
But you see, it becomes more acute, and I say more acute because it was always there. If you understand the nature of the universe And you know, when we're talking about relationships, I can't remember I talk about this next week, but it bears last week, it bears repetition if I did. The universe is a pool, yes? As the best metaphor I can get. And every pebble that falls into a pool affects the whole pool. All right? So we are, relationships then, I'm saying, are not optional. Whether we engage them or we don't engage them, they are a must. The nature of the universe demands.
You can't be alone. You can't be single. To do anything, you have to interact with another.
Relationships are inevitable.
In every transaction,
all right? Yes, at least two.
Yes.
All right? And therefore, the question is not whether or not you're going to have relationships. The question now is what is going to be the quality of the relationships that you have.
How do you maintain? What are the things that you need
Let
to
me just share something.
Okay.
I have met people, clients, who, with all the universe for them to do, have nobody they can pick up that phone and talk to openly. I'm talking about bearing your heart. I'm talking about being really honest and saying, listen, this is it. I have no money at all to do this. I have, they have nothing because their family line is very short. So they have no brothers, no sisters. They are alone. And because of lots of maybe insecurities, never really build that close relationship with them.
What are they to do, Jennifer? Because
what I'm saying is that
what are they to do?
The priority, our priority, every priority of every single human being is to cultivate high quality relationships. And I use the word very deliberately, cultivate, because all relationships require work.
What is the word? Because in our last 5 minutes, I want us to be able to allow everyone, I want us to be able to allow our audience and all those who will follow on YouTube afterwards to at least come away. I'm in a position, I don't have friends. I don't know how to maintain friends. What is it that we need to do? What's the work that needs to be done?
We talk about what you bring to the table.
Yes.
And that is relevant here. So the question is, what do I have to give?
Yes.
Yes? Because it is in giving that you receive. That's
absolutely.
The universe is a reciprocal mechanism. You give and you receive. You breathe in and you breathe out.
Yes.
All right?
And it's exchange.
It's always an exchange.
Yes.
All right. So to have a high quality relationship, you have to say, what do I have to give? And to whom can I give this? Yes?
And that's a friend?
And that's a friend.
So,
wow.
All right? And to whom can I give it? And
what do I have to
do I
give
it?
To whom can I
and do I give it without expecting a return? No, the return I'm saying is inevitable because the universe is a reciprocal mechanism. But I'm not giving it in order to get. There's a big difference. I give it is unconditional.
Then it becomes my friend.
The right things that you like and so on. But when you meet people, for instance, this is why one of the things I like about connection, about Connect 50+, that it is providing an environment where people, a platform where people can step outside of their normal circle and find people, because companionship, you're not saying it into my words, but companionship is key.
Companionship is
key. And I will say, especially on the stage, And Terri-Ann, when you asked a question and God did answer in terms of you give of yourself, what can you give? I totally agree with that. But also, and this is what we said, connections that we provide. Some people don't even know what they can give. They're so wrapped up in themselves and not allowing others to come into their lives. They don't know how to do it. And, I believe that just watching our shows, calling programs, getting out there, we must know You must like to do something. Must like to do something. So join a group, and when we did, that's why we also did the vision board exercise, etc., to get people to start to think differently. And again, we could be just stuck because of that last stage we won and didn't prepare for this stage. So for those who have found themselves, like what we spoke about and got chatted on about, you have no friends, and I know about that. This is the time to at least start reaching out to one person or ask yourself, what can I give? What can I do? And that first step will just lead you into the other steps.
Yeah.
Because it is critical to have friends at this stage.
Well, we do hope that you all enjoyed this reflection on that critical area of relationships. You know, look deep inside. Make sure that the reason that you don't have companionship is not because of the wall you built yourself. So
and let me add here too, for those who may be thinking, God is just a good friend, a follower, and a man. He's not a psychologist or anything. He's just sharing his view as a man, and we really do appreciate, because he's a philosopher, a deep thinker. So that was really enjoyable getting the views, from God there.
Excellent. So we'll see you on the other side, where we are going to talk about our anniversary.
Yes.
So Jennifer, 7th of April is coming. We're 3 years old.
3 years, 3 years. I am really excited. And Terri-Ann, in looking back at the shows that what we that we're doing now, really our mission, CONEC-TIONS mission, is to connect you. Connect you to the tribe, because you're all about community, yes, self-care, financial situations, etc., but connect you to the tribe. And we thought this is a great time again to do a lot of connections in our celebration, Terri-Ann. So we 3 years, 3 sets of activities. So you can't say you don't like this, you don't like. We covered all.
3 activities.
Yes. We thought we should cover all. So those who want to go on a road trip, yeah, we're going to be outside having fun. For those who want to just sit back and play some board games and relax and laugh and chat and don't dance, but sit down, we're catering for you. And for those who want to really swing and party and celebrate, we're catering for you. So Terri-Ann, let's hear about it. So Terri, 3 activities, yes?
So we are going to start our anniversary celebrations. So 3 weekends, 3 activities, lots of fun. We're going to start with a good old line, a fun day. We're going to play board games. We're going to do charades. We're going to have bingo. So we just getting together to have fun, just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have an after.
Terri-Ann, before you go, now guess what day we want to get together?
This is Easter Monday.
Yes, Easter Monday, because we know Easter time is a time to get together and have fun. So we thought, yes, what you doing for Easter? Easter Monday, we can get together.
Then on the 23rd of April, that's the following weekend, on the Saturday, we're having our afternoon soiree. This is where we're coming out and we mixing and mingling in our little, call it tea party, call it cocktail party, call it whatever it is. We're going to have an interesting and vibrant speaker there to talk about issues related to our life and aging. We promise it's going to be engaging. And we will also have entertainment to really have us have a great time. And the following weekend, the 1st of May, we are going on our road trip to Paramin. We're going on an outing. So, and all of our events are going to be fully catered. You're going to get all your refreshments and everything else. and they are going to be at the very affordable prices. Our fun day is just $150, and each of the afternoon story and the Paramount road trip are $250. But
Yep.
Jennifer, that entire thing is a $650 cost for 3 weekends. But
Yes.
what are we offering as a special?
Our anniversary special, guess what? All 3 events, you could say yes, are coming to all for only $500. I mean, really, that is a celebration. So you want to do all, great, just $500, and don't forget to let your friends know also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So stay tuned to Facebook, to YouTube.
Yeah.
We're going to be sending the information out to you. Join at, listen, COVID restrictions have been lifted. We are vaccinated, we are boosted, we understand the protocols. So we are
Yes.
coming out. We are coming out. No more hiding inside. We're coming out. And we are coming out to have a lot of fun. So
Yes.
stay
Good.
tuned, and we're gonna have a great time. It's been 3 years. It's time we get to meet each other. So,
Yeah.
so until next week, everyone, this was a wonderful reflection, and you know,
Yes.
you're walking down the road with us to our anniversary. So bye.
50 Plus Tribe and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.